All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here with LRock617 playing the Simpsons arcade game. I believe it's any percent. Is that right?
Any percent, and it looks like the donation incentive was met to bump it up to expert difficulty. So that's what we're going to be doing today.
That's right. Expert difficulty, and the bid war was for Lisa.
Yay, Lisa! She needs braces, so we're going to play her to the
Braces.
very end. Be sure to get those dental plans out there. All right, thank you so much, bro. As bro said, I am LRock617. Very, very happy to be participating this weekend with you all with Slurpathon, who has already raised over 2,700 for the cause for Extra Life. Big congrats to him. For today, looks like we're going to be doing some Simpsons Arcade. As you can see, difficulty is set to expert. And I forget, you're keeping time on the timer, right, bro? Is that right? Just to confirm.
I believe our restreamer is, yeah.
Sure. That's fair. Well, it means I don't have to, and it's not capture. So yeah, cool. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead and start on stage one. And I believe it was the little Miss Lisa herself that won. So we're gonna go ahead and start at 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so realistically, expert percent is... It's definitely different from playing the default difficulty or any lower difficulty, but it's not really for interesting reasons. It's more just because, hey, more enemies. Like, that's all this game's going to throw at you. I'll at least talk about some of the techniques I'm going to use in the meantime. You're going to be seeing a lot of the special move, which in Lisa's case is the lasso spin over her head. Every character has a move similar to this, and they're all really good. I did not want to get that little out of that. God, this guy. You're gonna be seeing a lot of item use too. Lisa just gets all these heavy lifting with these signs and this bus stop. Throw that. Wanted to hit that guy as he was coming out of the fence, but didn't quite catch it. Might be some small mistakes here and there, but okay. The other thing about expert is that enemies are definitely inherently more difficult because they just love to troll and they love to scam time. My goodness. All they do is they just run away incessantly. Like, things like that, too. Like, they are actually really good at dodging, and I have to give them a little bit of credit for that. I'm gonna take out this guy. So another thing you're gonna see, since this is the Japanese version of the game, there's a lot of hidden weapons that we can use that are very useful to our cause. Particularly here, in the very first stage, we have this broom we confiscated from a tree. We're gonna reach our first boss. With the broom, that actually makes this a much shorter fight than it would normally be. Whoop, it dropped input there. That's fine. And one more hit. Aside from the dropped input, that was basically a perfect fight. That guy's actually pretty random because he can break out of that at any given point if he wants to. He can jump out with a splash. He can do a windmill punch and hit me first. One of my favorite quotes in the game. Shout out to Lisa. Alright, quick bonus stage. Nothing really to talk about here. In the US version of this game, completing the bonus stage in first place refills part of your health, whereas normally it wouldn't. But in the JP version, you always go back to max health, so not really a concern for us. One with a time of 376. Also, I should point out this is the PS3 download version of this that I'm playing, which explains like the border you all might be seeing. Okay, for a second stage, the game amps up a little bit here, but this is honestly one of my favorite stages to play when it's willing to cooperate. Also, I don't know if y'all knew, but Lisa's definitely a lifter. She just evidenced by lifting that mailbox with one hand and just tossing it at a bunch of goons. Grab Santa's little helper here. Did not want that few kills, but okay. Had that miss a line. I'm gonna get this pile of donuts for safety. You'll see me do that a lot for y'all today. I definitely want to make sure my health is always intact, because deaths in this game are devastating. And as with any of my arcade runs, I am intending to try to get a 1 credit clear of this game, which essentially means beating it on 1/4. And an arcade life for this game is 2 lives. Or an arcade credit, I should say, sorry. But on expert percent on this digital download, for some reason, they give you 3 lives per credit. But that's not going to matter to me. I only want to take 1 death at max. I prefer to keep it traditional. So, normally in the non-JP versions of this game, you will be seeing the hammer. Like, it's always in this stage, but the big difference here is that we get a much better moveset with the hammer. This dive that I'm doing does not exist in the version of the game that most people are used to seeing. It's incredibly busted. It's really good for movement. It moves way faster than walking, as you can see, and it has a 1-hit KO hitbox on just about all enemies, and it does insane damage against bosses. Very similar to the broom we saw in the last stage. Take out these rabbits. Good timing there. Whoa. That was weird. I'm gonna take this guy out with a ground hit. It's much, much slower, but enemies in this game like to cheat because if enemies are even slightly off screen, they have iframes and you can't hit them. So I let them spawn on screen and then kill them with a slow hit rather than a dive, which is probably gonna miss. Stage 2 boss is just going to be this crusty balloon. It's actually a pretty simple fight. At least if you have hammer, it is anyway. It only takes 8 hits to be able to do this. First 2 cycles are really good. Sometimes after either the first 2 cycles, what the balloon can do is it can go into the background and drop cherry bombs on you. It's completely random and it drains time and nothing you can do about it, but we didn't have it happen there, so that's good. Okay, stage 3 is, for my playtime with this game, one of the gates, especially on Expert. This is a very difficult stage. There's going to be a few moments where I might actually have to take quiet time to make sure I can focus. That was a particularly instance there. This stage is just nuts because there's just a ton of enemies. Like, it's the first stage to me that has, like, way too many enemies for the amount of space that you have, which, 2, leads me to the other problem. This stage, top to bottom, as you can see from the belt scrolling, is not very big until we get out of the woods. And there's also no health that we can get, except for, like, I think there's one piece of fruit in one of these trees that really isn't all that useful because it doesn't refill your health by much. Like, it might save you from, like, a very small hit, but nothing significant, like a kick or something. Toss that at that guy. Come on. Umbrella guys are the worst. I do not enjoy them. Kill that guy out of the tree. First major food item. Here we have some corn. Also, anytime you pick up an item that shows a word balloon like that, you do get iframes, which is really useful. As you can see, that guy tried to hit me there, and I just wasn't having it. Double kill there. That was good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Their jump kick is particularly annoying. It's actually really strong and has a really good hitbox. Take out those. Oh, okay, I do not want that. Zombies are a bit of an issue when they want to be. They're, the hitbox on that little, I don't even know what you call it, just that little claw move that they can do is pretty big, and I like to try to avoid it if I can, but sometimes they make that difficult, especially if they're guarding an item like the slingshot. Slingshot, as you can see here, is pretty busted. It kills all zombies in one hit, and that's very, very good for us. Also going to have a quick speed strat here, found by a runner named Zurst. So that slingshot, that actually almost killed me, and that was terrifying. I'm going to go ahead and snag this for safety. Go into our elevator. So here's everybody's favorite, the Konami beat 'em up elevator. This section is just going to be a complete time scam. What happens is you'll have enemies spawn at pretty regular rates until it gets up to 3 enemies. And from here, I actually don't have to attack anything. I'd rather them just follow me all the way to the bottom and then I can kill them. Because for every enemy I kill, it might spawn anywhere from 1 to 2 more enemies, and I don't want that. I'd rather just have these guys chase me and ask them to leave me alone. Get Lisa to jump rope a little bit. This is actually one of my favorite, what do I call it, animations in the game, the little jump rope dive she does. Big, big fan of that. It's going to be right about here. Okay, I got trolled. Yeah, I got pretty unlucky there with that. I'm actually going to take some food for safety here. That should be fine. So this boss is one of the harder ones in the game. There is a quick kill associated, which I'm going for pretty much right at the start. Hopefully I get it. But let's go ahead and take quiet time here. Did not want to go that way. That happens sometimes. Sometimes those guys get like too close to you and you get a back hit instead, and that's not good. But it looks like I was able to recover it. Unless I can quit dropping inputs, I guess. Yeah, this is pretty awful. Dropped 1 input and got to jump out instead, but still went okay, and I got to show off the double hits and we didn't die, so no real gripes. Right, stage 4 is a really fun stage. It's the first stage where we essentially get a melee sub-weapon right at the very start. It's actually one that wasn't discovered until about, I think I found it last year from a YouTube video. Strange to be able to find stuff on there. I wouldn't expect to find that from strats. We'll go ahead and snag this hammer from the top of the bathroom there. It's very unfortunate I couldn't scroll the screen. Splatting enemies against the wall does not remove their sprite from the screen, so therefore you kind of have to wait it out. So, got kind of memed there. But from here, we're just going to knock down some dudes. Throw that. Take our broom. I only throw the hammer there just to be able to save time. Also, normally I'd be grabbing those food items, but I'm doing pretty well, so I'm just not going to take the time to do it because I don't need to. And the stage is not really too much of a worry. It also is one of the easier boss fights. Get out of here. You can also see these kind of weapons do have just completely busted hitboxes. They can hit from top plane to bottom and vice versa without any real issues. Also, I love Lisa's walking animation when she's holding the broom. Like, look at her just huffing and puffing and trying her butt off. Lisa is the best. Kill you. I have to kill all these guys, unfortunately, but we are going to get some despawns here. We're going to see some dudes with barrels spawn from the left. Sorry, not barrels, though. They had hammers. We gotta take care of this one last guy. And for this boss, what we want to do is we want to get behind him and just keep hitting with the broom. Gonna make for a pretty easy fight because when we're behind him, he can't hit us. You have to be a certain number of pixels away to make sure you're gonna be invincible to what he's trying to do. But it's definitely worth doing because, as you can see, he's not interacting with me at all. 10 hits later and it's over. Pretty good stage there. Stage 4 honestly feels like a break though, because as difficult as stage 3 was right before it, stage 5 is that much harder. This to me is the hardest stage in the run. Number of reasons for it. First, there's similar to stage 3, it's gonna be a while before we see a healing item. And in this case, it's actually true. There's one piece of fruit in a tree that sometimes doesn't spawn, and it doesn't refill much health, so I pretty much just have to rely on whatever I'm working with here. Dude, quit going aggro. This is the big issue with this stage. We have these big guys who throw these huge items that completely debilitate anything we're trying to do, and they do a lot of damage. So it's priority number 1 to make sure you avoid all those, and they can really troll you. Stop that, dude. My friends are watching. Leave me alone. I'm gonna try and take these guys out. Those are some of the more difficult enemies in terms of health, so I don't mind using a rock to try to take them out. I did not want that to happen. Pardon me while I wait out the bees. From that tree is where we can get the piece of fruit that can refill a little bit of health, but it doesn't refill enough to matter, really. Take out this ape. Apes are kind of annoying. They do have some good attacks. Their best one is a bicycle kick, which can hit twice, and I definitely want to avoid that. They generally do it from a distance. That was unfortunate, so I'm glad I was able to conserve health. That guy is the biggest troll on the stage. The dude who just spawns right away and can just toss a boulder at you before you can react, like, that's just cheating. Kick this. Okay, so we got our food item. We're going to be able to continue from here. Onto the bridge. Slingshot's going to be incredibly useful here. That's rude. There's a chance I may run out of ammo before the end of the bridge. I hope that doesn't happen, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I did kind of get trigger happy there a little bit. Okay, so I had just enough ammo to do that. We're going to walk up here, hit this, hit this. Oh look, we have a broom now. So prior to Makina Azul, former world record holder of this game, finding this broom back in, I think it was 2018 when he found it. This was arguably the hardest boss in the game, was this bear, but the broom turns the fight into a complete joke. Also, my apologies to Sparko for what I'm getting ready to have to do. That was unfortunate. So really, the fight is all about execution, but there is some RNG to it because of the boulders. If boulders are falling on his spawn point, or where his hitbox is, that was unfortunate, then you have the chance of getting hit by those if you're trying to hit them on wake up, which is optimal for speed, but sometimes the game does game things. Still a good fight. Yeah, I knew it. But luckily, it wasn't even a real bear. It was just a guy in a bear suit. So we did okay. Now we've fallen down the waterfall, we get to fall asleep, we get to go into Dreamland, not to be confused with Kirby's Dreamland. This is just a fever dream that all the Simpsons experience for this stage, and it's kind of a silly stage, because Simpsons, I guess. The big thing with this stage is that, 1, there's not a lot of healing, like, read very, very little, and 2, enemies in this stage are exclusive to this stage. And some of them are really difficult, particularly the saxophones. Like I'm just getting comboed right there. For example, like these saxophones are huge trolls. They can not only drop hits on you and just cause you to just get completely discombobulated and get frame trapped like that, but they also can float off screen to points where you can't even hit them. Worst enemies in the game by a lot. So these power plant workers, they're not too bad since we have these throwing items. But knowing how to manipulate your actual combat tools against them is also important. Like these guys here, I'm just going to kill in 1 hit. I only need those guys there in 1 hit just because I played this game so much. Didn't want that to happen. Clean up these guys. Okay, I don't really love my health here, but I'm hoping for some good news here. This nuke was also found by Zurst, and thank goodness him for that, because these Bart Devils used to be the other hardest enemy in the stage, but the nuke turns them into a complete joke because it reduces 4 of them all to 1 health. And we just have to finish them off with dodge and the like. The last one we actually had to kill, but we did that pretty efficiently. So here's our boss. Bowling ball is kind of interesting as a fight. There is going to be a quick kill associated with it that I'm going to go for. Okay, so I got the second cycle. Second cycle going that fast is optimal. It can possibly go faster, but it's really, really hard. I don't even think it's entirely execution based. I think there's some randomness to it as well. For phase 3, it just gets to get clocked out like that. We just make sure we don't get hit by any missiles. And the last phase is also pretty simple. Phases 1 and 2 are honestly like the fight themselves. Past that, this fight's nothing. Just keep doing specials, make sure he gets hit. Sucks he got that far off screen because he has to walk all the way back on screen or roll, I guess as it should be, to ensure that he's going to despawn. So that's what it is. Now we get a reprise of the Simpsons theme. It'll take us right back into our wake-up attacks here. By that I mean just actually waking up. This is how we're going to wake him up. We got one more bonus stage. We'll mash the buttons to try to slap her awake with our glove. That bonus stage is actually quite a bit faster than the first one. Like, this one I've seen completed in as high as, like, with 7 seconds remaining if you're good at hovering. I generally only get 5s, but the other one I can generally not finish faster than 4s. So anyway, for a flavor fail, we have Channel 6 as Stage 7. This honestly would be one of the hardest stages in the game if you didn't have a very distinct advantage, and similar to Stage 4, we do get to start with a melee sub-weapon and the hammer, and we're pretty much going to be keeping this the entire time. These enemy groups would just be absolutely disgusting if we didn't have a way to abuse just one-hit KOs like this over and over and over again. Sometimes they get out of the way. Hitbox on the dive is a little funky sometimes, but we still have to do it. It's the best way of killing enemies. Okay, that was weird. Don't think I talked about Slide before. Slide's kind of dirty. They can essentially do it in response to anything that you can do, so it's generally an input read if they do it, or it's a distance read. I'm going to take this for some safety. I got slid into a lot. Just one of my DMs, I guess. Get out of here, please. Also take this time to say thank you so much to everybody who donated towards both the incentives for this game, both the character bid war as well as expert difficulty. That really means a lot. As I'm sure it does to Slurpy, who's putting on this amazing marathon. Whoa, okay. So the double robot fight you only see on expert, so it's a little bit more annoying than a typical one. We'll take that out there. That's actually the most I've gotten trolled by in quite some time. So if I get that double kill there like I did, there is a chance I have it at despawn, which it looks like I actually got. See, if I didn't get that, there would be a guy spawning in that door at the top, and he didn't spawn this time. So it's pretty cool that I got that. What is happening? We're about done with just our standard goons, and we're going to move into this section of enemies that is definitely not a group of foot soldiers. No way, no how. They are copyrighted, and therefore not in this game. These guys are pretty mean. They have a pretty good amount of attacks. They have a backwards flip kick that also has built-in evasion, so it can just dodge our hits. They also have a projectile and the shuriken, and they have this really high-angle jump kick. Excuse me. That really, it feels like no matter what I do, if the jump kick is active, they're going to out-prioritize me no matter what I'm doing. Pretty silly. Alright, so we're going to spawn the boss. I don't think I've ever seen that guy jump in like that before. The goal here is to take out all these enemies before the boss shows up. And once we're here, we can just go ahead and start the fight. This Shogun-looking guy he's honestly not that hard as long as you're able to do dive loops like this. But there is one thing that can get in the way, and that's that guy. But I got incredibly lucky with him spawning there where I could actually hit him. Hoping for a 5-cycle fight here. It can be extended, but that's RNG. Okay, so we got 5. So, as I was explaining, for randomness, what can happen in that fight sometimes is that on the last hit of the 5th cycle, if he decides to jump cancel out of getting hit, he can extend his life by another cycle, and we had to hit him 3 more times. Completely random whether or not he decides to do that. But we got a 5-cycle fight, and that was good. Right on to our last stage. This is the only stage that, in my experience, is exactly the same regardless of the difficulty you're playing, because it's just a short boss rush. You only had to fight Smithers and Burns, and you fight them the same no matter what difficulty you're on. So the first thing I'm going to do is spawn some food. Go ahead and take it, because we can go beyond max health on JP. That was bad. Definitely did not want to miss that input. So to start the Smithers fight, we're going to hit him 5 times with this. And then I'm going to start doing some baits. Didn't get it there. Swing again. Now I'm going to try and jump bait this. What I'm trying to get him to do is to take a swing with his cape. That way I can avoid it. The cape is completely invincible. Like, we just can't hit him out of it at all. Might actually have an easy path here. That fight got a little desynced, but it still worked out pretty well. Make sure you can time your specials, and he's good to go. He's normally considered one of the hardest fights in the game, but as long as you can understand his pattern, it's honestly not that bad. Whereas Mr. Burns, being the final boss, this fight's a little peculiar. There is an infinite that I'm going to go for. Not necessarily a true infinite, but it does keep him in stun lock for pretty much forever. I did not want that to happen. So let's see if I can get it. I dragged him down here because I wanted him to go to the bookcase because it's much easier for setup purposes. I'm gonna get him to go to the second phase, and here's where the fight's gonna get interesting. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stand here and I'm gonna keep hitting him and hope he keeps bouncing back and forth without being able to get out. That would be ideal. I will probably go ahead and just take some time to focus here so I can grind this out. That's good. Push himself back into the corner. That's always good. Come on, Lisa. Missing some inputs there. It's unfortunate. Yep, that's unfortunate. Yeah, this is bad. Might have a chance here on the inside. Okay, this should be good from here. Sometimes you have to go like just past the blue line. The blue to the left of the blue line is where I start the fight, but beyond that, it's kind of just anybody's guess. His hitboxes are a little crazy, especially with those prongs on the front of the machine. But from here, I should be able to just keep him locked here, and he should be good to go, and that'll do it. Time's gonna be when Maggie falls on Burns, and that's gonna be time. Not sure how that looked on the stream, but I think I clocked that in a 20-minute even, so that's a really good run. My PB on this category is a 1928, so I'm definitely not unhappy with a low 20. 1959 stream. Nice. Good stuff. Second 19 this week, even. So yeah, that's our Simpsons story. We rescued Maggie because she had a diamond in her mouth, knocked down the 8-foot-tall Mr. Burns, families reunited, and that's going to take us through a little end credits for... This is actually from a Season 1 episode. It was the one where they all applied shock therapy to each other, and this was just the outro, and I like the fact that they included this for the end credit. I think that's really neat. Okay, so that's going to do it for me. Once again, thank you so much to everybody who's donated to all the incentives and to Extra Life this weekend, including my 2 incentives for this game. I love running this game in marathons. It's an easy way to get people excited because everybody likes to bid for their favorite character. And yeah, really not much else to say to that except stick around. Up next, we've got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the SNES, which is a game I'm a very big fan of, by DevMan2DX. So you all feel free to stick around, and I will catch you on the next one. Be good, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much. Good game. Thank you for being here and donating your time to Slurpathon. For anybody who just tuned in, !donate if you're looking to donate to the Extra Life stream. We're about $262 away from our goal, and we still have another whole day to go. This is amazing, everybody. I'm very impressed. This will also end it for me as a host. You're going to be hosted by the lovely Akimo